you get as frustrated doing windows as I used to? Well, you won't be frustrated anymore. The beauty of a dry steam vapor system is you're heating the water to 300 degrees, so you're taking all the minerals out of the water, and you're not using any chemicals. The machine comes with 2 blades and the squeegee, and it's easy to change the blades. Just depress the button, remove the blade, and put in the larger blade. If you're wanting to maybe kill dust mites in the carpet, just the squeegee without any blade at all works very easily. It just pushes so easily across the carpet, and you're getting direct steam right into your carpet, killing any dust mites, fleas, flea eggs, and larvae. To do your window, the very first time you do your window, you may want to take the triangular brush or the large rectangular brush, put a towel on it, and go over the window very slowly, just moving it back and forth, getting into all the corners. And this is going to help remove any cleaner that you may have used in the past. If anyone smokes in the house, you're going to get the nicotine and all of those contaminants out of the window. Then after you've done that one time, you can eliminate that part of the process and just use the window squeegee. When you use the window squeegee, the steam comes out here and you're steaming the window. You can actually move this around, steam the window real well, and then either shut the steam off and squeegee the window, or you may even want to continue running the steam and squeegee the window at the same time. It works beautifully, and you're not going to have any streaking. You're going to love this accessory. What we're going to do is we're going to turn this system on. We're going to let our towel get warm, or actually hot. Take just a second or two running the steam through. We're working on low to medium steam. In this case, I'm probably about medium, and that's about as high as you'd want to be. Most everything you do in your house, you're going to be on low to medium steam. That's your hottest, driest steam, and that's very important. That's what we want. We want heat, and we want dry. We're just going to work it slowly over the area. And again, if I cut up chicken here, I'm going to be more thorough than if I'm just trying to clean this off. We're going to let a little heat get into the surface, and that's all we're going to need to do. And if we had soil, this is where it would end up. Not a lot of soil on this countertop, but we've killed bacteria. Now, if I was going to work the wood, I'm going to work a little quicker, because on a wood surface, obviously we don't want to raise the grain of the wood. We don't want to take the finish off of it. And the wood surfaces that we have on kitchen cabinets and things do not have the type of finish that a hardwood floor or something like that would have. But here you can see how quickly we did pick up soil on the hardwood surface. Okay, now we're going to move over to our sink. Okay, now we've moved over to the kitchen sink. We're going to show you some areas that we can work on at the kitchen sink that are very, very helpful. First of all, we're going to run a little bit of steam out of the system, blow some of the condensation that's left in our hose, just turn it down, get it down to a good steam pressure here. And we're going to work right around this edge here. If you had coffee stains or whatever, you're also going to get bacteria in the sink. In fact, the Seattle Times also did an article on can your kitchen sink make you sick? And yes, it can, due to the bacteria that you have in a garbage disposal or right in and around the sink area itself. The steam is going to kill that for you. Okay, we've worked in this area. If I wanted to work right into the garbage disposal, I'd put a towel around this and just run the steam down in here, count to about 7. And we're pretty much going to kill the bacteria down in the garbage disposal itself, right down to the water line. You don't want to let that set too long, because obviously you're going to get your pipes too hot. But just that short period of time there will work very, very well. Now when we want to work around the faucet here, there's always a lot of crud right in and around the chrome piece itself. So you just use just the nozzle to start with, and a lot of that we can just blow out. And here I'm going to have a towel handy, and I can just wipe up afterwards. If you had a lot there, you can put on the nylon brush that forms a little agitation and get it in there to scrub just a little bit. And again, we'll just take and wipe that off. On the faucet itself, now one thing to remember, we're not using chemicals, and the steam itself will never deteriorate the chrome on our sink. It'll just brighten it and polish it, bring it back to its original luster, unless we've been using chemicals for a long period of time. in which case we might have scratches and things like that that we can't remove. This will just do a great job on the chrome all over it. When we get done, we'll just take and wipe that up then real quick. And you can see the polish we have on that. Isn't that great? Okay, same thing around these areas. We would just work with either the nylon brush. If I had a stainless steel sink, I would probably use the brass brush. That would form a little bit more agitation, and I don't have to worry about scratching the enamel. Okay, right along the front of the sink. A lot of times you get a lot of crud in and around the sink. Now here, some of the grout is already gone, so we're just going to work it more carefully. But you're going to see a lot of junk coming down that grout line. Especially if the grout's totally gone, there's a lot of bacteria that will get in underneath, especially on a stainless steel sink. Okay, now up here we're going to work just a little bit on, we have some tile and grout, and actually we're going to use the brass brush here. This will give you an example of how to do a grout line. What you want to do on a grout line, we're going to work right in this area here, is first of all the steam's coming right through the center of this tool, so we want to center it down the grout line, maybe just for a second or two, and then we're going to let the bristles work in the grout itself. And again, we're not using any chemical, we're just allowing the heat to do the work. And we get down into the grout line, and then we'll work it back and forth. And you can see the amount of dirt that we've removed just in that little spot there. And if we give that a second to dry out, just for a second, you can also lay your towel back on it and turn it back on, and that'll pull the moisture out too if you want to. It just depends. If I was working on the floor, that's definitely the way I would do it on a grout line. But we had a big black stain right here, and you can see that's gone now. Okay, now we want to work a little bit on the ceiling and on the floor, so we'll reset for that. While working on a ceiling, there's a couple of things we want to remember. First of all, you want to use the right number of extension tubes to reach the ceiling. For me, this is a little bit over an 8-foot ceiling, but I can reach it with 2 extension tubes. Someone a little shorter may want to use 3 extension tubes. No more than 3 though, because remember, we'll start to lose the heat and our steam will get wetter, won't do the job. What we're going to do here, we're going to turn it on, we're going to allow our towel to get some heat into it. And the thing to remember here, the neat part of this, is I'm standing on the ground, I'm not up on a ladder, I don't have a chemical, nothing to drip down in my eyes or drip all over the floor or furniture or anything like that. No one ever does a ceiling because they're too hard to do. This is very, very simple. And there's a lot of dust, a lot of greases and oils, especially in the kitchen, up on the ceiling. You'll see a little bit of moisture on the ceiling, but you'll see it disappear very, very quickly. This is real effective and very, very quick. I can do a whole room in a matter of minutes. If I'm in the kitchens or in a bathroom, we're going to be working on enamel paint, more than likely. In a living room, we're going to have latex. On enamel, we can work a little more slowly, a little more aggressively, because the paint is going to adhere better. Latex, with the heat, we may pull it off sooner, so you just want to work a little more quickly. But you can see how quick that was. Now, one thing about using our towels, a lot of people will ask, do we use a lot of towels? Well, we're going to give you a little education on the toweling. First of all, remember, we double every towel, so we have 4 sides to that towel. The other important thing is we're going to start in the cleanest area first and work down to our dirtier areas. In other words, I'm not going to work on my floor and then go up to my ceiling. My floor is dirtier than my ceiling. So we usually start at the top and work down. That's real important. You're not going to go through the towels as often. Now, I could do the walls the same way as you saw me working the ceiling. But we're going to work on down to the floor now at this time.